Good morning, everyone. I'm Jakub, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts and my experiences while writing an open source book. And the book is called Geocomputation with R. And this is the only slide I'm going to show you what's the actual things that we mention in the book. So the book is about spatial analysis. It's about how to make maps, how to apply the spatial analysis in the real world. And this book is a collaboration of me, Robin Lovelace, and Janes Munchau, and it took us about 2 years to make that book. And this book, as I mentioned before, is an open source book, which is available online for free on our website. But we also have a paper version that has been published a few months ago, and you can buy it online. And the whole story of the book started about 3 years ago. Me and Robin met and started discussing our ideas, and very surprisingly, we found out that we share the same idea. We wanted to create some kind of materials, how to do spatial analysis, but in the same time, those materials need to be very user-friendly, very good for some people who are new to that field. So we were imagining that book as the book audience as ourselves just a few years before. And we also love to have paper books. Reading books online is awesome, but it's also good to have a paper version. There's a different feeling to that. So a few months after that discussion, we wrote a proposal to the publisher, and you can see our editor, John Kimmel, from CRC Press, and he was very helpful, very nice, and because of that, we publish our book in something we call the hybrid system. So the hybrid system is that when we have that free, open, online version of the book, but there is also that paper version, that published version that can be bought and is sold by the publisher. And of course, there are many pros of this approach, because if you just want to read that book, you can just go on the website and read it. But if you want to have a paper version, it's also possible. And of course, there are many ways to do that. We went with the publisher. However, if you want, there are many ways how to self-publish a book. There are also many publishers right now that allows that kind of system. So there are links on the slides. Slides are available online. I will show you a link later, so you can check the links and read about how to self-publish a book or how to contact with different publishers. And when we wrote the proposal, we start thinking, okay, so how are we supposed to work on that book? Because back then I was based in US, Robin was in UK, and we are not only separated by thousands of kilometers, but we also were separated by 5-hour time difference. So how we can organize our infrastructure to be useful and helpful? And that's basis of our infrastructure. So of course, the main thing is the bookdown package that allows us to easily create different version of the book, because we need to have HTML version, that online version, but we also need to have that PDF LaTeX version for our publisher and for the publishing process. And bookdown allows for many things like cross-referencing and a lot of other things, but that's not enough. Bookdown is not enough because we need to share our code, we need to share our ideas, and we use, for example, one of the things we used was GitHub. So everything we've done was pushed through Git to the open GitHub page, and we can see what we've done to the book, what was the maybe addition or change or We can also comment our code, make pull requests, and so on and so on. Our book also uses Travis. And Travis is very important for that book because our book has a lot of code inside. So we want to be sure that our book works. We want to be certain that everything inside is actually a working code. So Travis helps us with that. So we can see that our code is actually working all the time, and that's very important. And finally, we want to have that book online, that people can see that book. So we use Netlify to host the book website that everybody can access and can read the book. We also use a lot of other things like Zotero, which is very helpful when you have a lot of references. So you can store the references, you can cite them easily. Also using useR package, or use a cable extra package to create tables, because you need to have tables that works well in both HTML and PDF version. However, we also created some new packages like geocomp pkg that contains vignettes and some other helpful information, but also have all of the dependencies that we use in our book. And we also have a spdata package, which contains example data sets we use in our book. So why even writing an open source book? Why that idea even good? So we thought about that, and there are many pros of that. Mostly because of the contribution and collaboration part. So people can see our mistakes or typos or anything else and can improve that and make a pull request and open new issue. But they also can be involved in adding new ideas or proposing some changes, which was great. So about collaborating, there are a few tips I want to share with you. One tip, you can see animation right now. Very important thing about working with GitHub is that you need to write one line of a code of text at the time. So you can see every sentence is a different line. Why this is important? This is important because when you do like a pull request or something like that, your collaborators can see what was the exact change made in the text. So you can see here that I just added this line. However, if I wrote that as a huge paragraph in one line, I would be unable to see what was the exact change. So that's one of the important things to know when you are collaborating with not only books, but also like our Markdown and audio, and many other formats, to have just one line per sentence. Other things that I found very important was to start with an outline. So have some idea what I plan to show. However, don't be afraid to change it. I think we changed our outline dramatically maybe 3 or 4 times. Because while writing the book, we've got new ideas, and we decided to move some chapters, to change the order, to change some of our initial ideas. I also found, for me, very important to have a writing habit. So while writing the book, I was spending 1 hour, like about 1 hour every day to write maybe just a few lines of code, maybe just a few lines of text, but to have that habit was crucial for me. To have a book style was crucial as well for a collaboration, because we need to have the same style and be consistent through the book. And for example, to have, we use that kind of style like packages were in bold font. Functions were using that kind of styling with parentheses. And we decided on using American spelling instead of British spelling. And very controversially, we used equal sign instead of arrow. What was also good for our collaboration was that we were in contact almost always. So we used useR for text communication, which occurs on almost daily basis. But we also use Skype to have video chat every month or every few weeks. And with that feedback, that makes everything easier and better. because we've got that instant feedback on our changes, on our ideas, and that makes that kind of experience better. And the most important thing is to, while writing the book and collaborating on the book, and many other projects, I assume, is to be kind and positive. So my co-authors, they are great because they are so kind, so positive. They are always excited about new changes, about new ideas, and that makes everything easier and better. So we started the book as two authors, me and Robin. However, because of that collaborative and open source way of thinking, a few months in making the book, we were contacted by Janez, who had some ideas about how to improve some parts of the book. And after another few weeks or months, he convinced that his input is so good, so of high quality, that he became the third author. So it's not only about our input. So we decided to write a book. We have our outline, we have our style, we have our infrastructure. However, we cannot write a book about nothing. So for our book, as a basis of our book, we used many existing software. So we used existing ARC packages like SF or raster or tmap or mapview, which actually builds upon others, not our software like Goodle or Proj. And those are some of the people involved in making that software. So our book was based on the existing, well-working, high-quality software. So that was the first part of something I called open source cycle. And the second part was our part. So we use that software. We need to write, we decided to write a book, and we want to have that book as good as possible. So we checked a lot of corner cases. We checked a lot of documentation, we checked a lot of functions, and sometimes we found some bugs. So we reported them. We sometimes found that documentation is not perfect, so we clarified that documentation. We proposed some changes or even made some pull requests. So you can see some subset of our input on other people's packages. And we were able to do that because we were very deep into the whole infrastructure, all of those packages I mentioned before. Next, those packages authors and different people, different software authors, gave their feedback on our book. So that's another part of that cycle. So we've got existing packages, we help them, and people help us back. So we've got several very important comments, suggestions, very long and very nice reviews, and some pull requests you can see here, which added some new sections, new options, new ideas to our book. And right now, everybody can see that, everybody can use that results, and they can use the changes they made. And the fourth part is the community. So it's not that you need to be a package author or you need to be a software developer to have your impact. We had more than 200 GitHub issues opened with comments, suggestions, questions, requests, and we try to be as helpful as possible to implement them. We also had about 200 pull requests, and even the book cover that you can see here was made through collaboration on Twitter. We just asked people to send some ideas, and finally that was our book cover. So the power of community is extreme, and it's awesome. So our book is one kind of material, but while writing the book, we found out that there are many things that maybe they are too detailed, or maybe they are not suitable for the book. So created another web page that you can see here, and that web page contains our materials from conferences, from workshops, but also it contains vignettes and solutions to the exercises in the book. So So we can go there and see some extended articles and examples, presentations, and so on and so on. So we want to share not only our book, but we also want to share other things that we've done around that topic. So I mentioned the community before, and community involvement, I think it's one of the greatest things while writing an open source book. You cannot even imagine how good it is to have that kind of comments or questions. When you can see that people are excited, you are more excited and you just want to make better things and make just good things like good book or good materials. And we use hashtag on Twitter called GeoCompR, but also as a community we use rSpatial. And we are still getting some suggestions and questions and other things on GitHub, so people are still involved, and we plan to update our book for many, many years to come. So I have a few closing notes. First of all, there are still some issues to solve. The infrastructure is great, but it's not perfect, especially when you have HTML and PDF. So probably some of the things are extremely hard to solve because you need to have some kind of tables or figures that looks good in both versions. Or you can want to have like references or styling, and there are many small issues that exist there. Another thing is how to relate the code to the code chunks to actual code, or the figures to the actual code. How to connect exercises to solutions. There are not good ideas how to do that. I don't know them. And the reviewing process and the copy editing process do not use Bookdown yet. That could be improved. So if you want to start, there are some links here. And just to sum up, writing book is a hard, long process, but it's extremely satisfying. And collaboration is crucial here. Infrastructure is there. And if you have any materials, any ideas how to maybe make some other people's life easier, just write your own materials, publish them, share them, collaborate with other people, because I think that's one of the most important things in our community, to be involved, to help other people, and to share your ideas. So thank you all.